What's good, lads? Today I made a bomb. So last episode we covered 4 new mobs added to the end dimension to my new mod, and today I have 5 new features and mobs that I added to the Nether, starting off with the Geyser Berry. As far as I'm concerned, the Nether really lacks in food sources, so my main idea for this dimension was to add a bit of diversity to obtaining food. The Geyser Berry was the first of my ideas to make that happen. This fruit spawns in the warped forest biome and can be hit to drop the Geyser Berry's edible item. It's a mid-tier food source, but in a rush it's better than nothing. And now here's where the gimmick of the name comes in. Say you're minding your own business in the Nether one day, looking around, and then boom, you step right onto a Geyser Berry. That's right, on contact, these explode. They won't kill you instantly, but after a few trip-ups around a Geyser Berry patch, you'll be done for. Here's a quick breakdown of this entity. I may have used just the single most unconventional workaround to allow for the exploding function. To begin with, as presumed, I made it so on contact with an entity, it would create an explosion and delete itself, which kinda worked, but it was very finicky. So then I made it so it would explode and activate the entity dying instead. But during the death process, there's a few milliseconds where the entity is still valid, so that caused several explosions to go off, and if the Geyser Berry touched another one, it would go ballistic. On top of that, because when it died it would drop an item, the item entity would activate the explosions and cause my game to crash. So, in a last ditch attempt, I made it so once the player is within 0.6 blocks of range, the berry will try to do a melee attack. Only I recoded the melee attack to be an explosion. Now this is great and all, but for this to work, it means the entity is now a pathfinding entity instead of a non-moving entity, which means occasionally it'll turn to look at something. But hey, it still works, so I'm going to take that compromise. Also, as a bonus, I made it so if you click on it, it'll drop its spawn, allowing you to place it inside your friend's house to screw with them. Alright. Time for feature number 2. This here is the Molotov Golem, a new monster that spawns in the basalt deltas. The Molotov Golem will roam around and once within the distance of a player, will charge up its attack and create a small explosion to deal damage to the player. Upon death, this monster drops a new item called sulfur. Sulfur can also be obtained through mining sulfur ore found around the basalt deltas. Sulfur is the nether equivalent of coal with a higher burning time, giving the player a fuel source that lasts longer but is more challenging to obtain. So sulfur's great and all, but what's it any good to you unless you have something to cook it with? And so I present the Warped and Crimson Trufflers. These little guys will wander around the Crimson and Warped forests, minding their own business without causing harm to anyone. So naturally, if you kill one, they'll drop a cooked fungus dependent on their variant. This means that I also added recipes so you can cook both Crimson and Warped funguses in a furnace to create a food item, so you don't have to kill the harmless locals. But seriously, look at these guys, they're absolutely adorable. And now finally we have the last 2 mobs. Both of these for the most part are entirely ambient and provide little functionality. The first of the 2 is this Ember Beetle here, which me and my Twitch chat worked on to create together. So far, it will fly around the Nether as an added environmental effect. In future, however, I may add a drop to it or another form of functionality for the mob, such as a food source or an armor set. For now though, it's just a silly little firebug. This second mob is the new biggest non-boss mob in the game. My aim was to create a beautiful creature that the player may stumble upon from time to time. I took inspiration from Subnautica's sea treaders and real life giraffes and produced the Soul Wader. These elegant mobs will walk across the Soul Sand Valley, towering over the player. While they shouldn't be killed, if you are to do so, they will drop a hardened bone shard which can be crafted into a helmet that will provide a large amount of protection. Aside from that however, they are more for looks than anything else. And with that fellas, thanks again for watching. I'm trying to get these 3 showcase videos out quickly so I can release the mod. Anyways, make sure to subscribe, follow my Twitch and join the Discord for more content, and I'll see you in the final video soonish. Bye bye.